On the day I was supposed to marry Elena, reality dissolved around me. One moment I was standing at the altar, and the next I was violently pulled backward through time, landing right back in the moment I first told her I loved her 5 years ago. Elena stood right in front of me. Her face was calm, her expression distant, and she rejected me with the same polite cruelty she had used the first time around. "I only see you as a younger brother," she said, her voice steady and unyielding. I forced a small, tight smile onto my face. "Fine," I said. "But let's make a bet. Whoever regrets this decision has to be a puppy forever." Her expression didn't change. She looked completely unbothered. "I never regret anything," she replied smoothly. If I hadn't already lived through the next 5 years, if I hadn't seen her crying on the floor, begging me to come back, I might have actually believed her act. "Keep pretending," I said. "You're really good at it." I looked down at the phone in my hand. "Unsend that message," she said, gesturing to the screen, "and I'll pretend I never saw it." I looked at the text I had sent just 3 minutes ago. It read, "Elena, I like you. I don't want to be your brother anymore." I lowered my eyes, deleted the message, and typed out a new one, keeping my thumbs casual. "You won't even have to think about it." Sure enough, a few seconds later, Elena's reply buzzed in my hand. It was the exact same polite rejection she had given me in the original timeline. "I only see you as a little brother." Seeing those words again, I couldn't help but let out a soft, dry laugh. How had I replied back then? Oh, right. I hadn't replied at all. I had gone to my room and cried in the corner like a child. Back then, I was ashamed of my feelings. I felt wretched and angry at myself for ruining our family dynamic. But I knew something now that I didn't know then. I wasn't the only one suffering. Elena was just better at hiding it. She was cool and composed, always prioritizing her responsibility as the older sister. She chose to suppress the feelings she thought were wrong. My efforts were met with ice because she was trying to protect the boundaries she thought she needed. In the end, I was the one who suffered the heartbreak alone, while she pretended everything was fine. Later, when she finally admitted her feelings, she realized she shouldn't have run away. That led to us planning our wedding, the one I was supposed to be at today. Instead, I woke up 5 years in the past, 10 minutes after realizing I had time traveled. I accepted it quickly. Elena had no idea that I knew how she really felt. She was still trying to push me away, acting cold and indifferent in hopes that I would give up. I guess this was fate. The pain I went through for years, she deserved to taste a little bit of it herself. On my phone screen, the typing bubbles appeared and disappeared. I typed a message before she could say anything else. "Fine, just don't regret it. Whoever regrets this is a puppy forever." It took a long time for her to reply. Finally, her text came through. "I never regret anything." I scoffed and tossed my phone onto my bed. "Yeah, right," I muttered to the empty room. "Keep acting. You're unbelievable." The next morning, when I walked downstairs, Elena was already busy in the kitchen. After her parents died in a car accident, my mom and dad took her in. They raised her for over a decade. We weren't related by blood, but we were tied together by history. Just like now, even in this awkward atmosphere right after she turned me down, she was still up early making me breakfast. It was a habit. I had been eating her food for 10 years. "I won't be home for lunch or dinner today," I said, grabbing a sandwich off the plate and taking a bite. I called out to her back. "I'm hanging out with friends this afternoon." She was focused on frying an egg and didn't turn around. I couldn't tell if she heard me. She seemed to be avoiding me all morning, staying busy in the kitchen doing who knows what. It wasn't until I was at the front door putting on my shoes that she walked out of the living room holding an umbrella. "The forecast says it's going to rain," she said. "Don't forget this." Her expression had returned to that calm, sisterly look she always wore. It was as if yesterday's rejection never happened. I took the umbrella and smiled at her. "Okay." As I opened the door, I turned back. "By the way, Elena," I said, keeping my voice relaxed and easy. "I thought about it last night, and you're right. I've never dated anyone, so I must have mistaken family love for romantic love. Sorry about that. I probably made things weird." Her hand tightened around the door frame. After a moment, she spoke softly. "It's good that you understand." I pretended not to see the tension in her hand. I patted her shoulder and leaned in a little closer, my breath brushing her ear. "I need to move my stuff out of the classroom now that I've graduated," I said with a grin. "I still have a few boxes left. I guess I'll have to trouble you, sis." Later that afternoon, I sat in a private room at a karaoke bar. The noise was loud enough to hurt my ears. Next to me, my friend Mark handed me a beer, looking curious. "What are you doing here today? I thought you hated these loud parties," he said. I took a sip and shook my head with a smile. Just suddenly felt like coming. In the past, Elena was very strict with me. I had a curfew. If I went out, I had to check in constantly. If I didn't text back within 2 hours, she would call. If I was out too late, she would be parked somewhere nearby, waiting. I used to be afraid of making her angry, so I was always obedient. Thinking back on it now, that wasn't just a sister being concerned. It was possessiveness. And she had the nerve to pretend it was just sibling affection. You never know how much a knife hurts until it's stuck in your back. "Won't your sister get mad?" Mark asked, looking worried. "Last time we hung out until dawn, she looked furious when she picked you up." I swirled the beer bottle in my hand. "What right does she have to be mad?" I put on a faint smile. "She's not my real sister." Elena was 3 years older than me. When I turned 18, she was already in college. Our parents traveled a lot for business, so taking care of me fell to her and the nanny. She basically raised me. My feelings for her were obvious to everyone, but she wanted to play the saint. It felt unfair. By the time Elena arrived at the school to help me move, it was already evening. The hallways were packed with parents helping their kids. Her tall figure stood out in the crowd. Even my homeroom teacher recognized her immediately. "Here to help your brother move his stuff?" the teacher asked. "Yes." Elena smiled softly. She had graduated from this school too, and had the same teacher. "He's moved most of it," the teacher said, leading her to my desk. "Just a few boxes of books left." Elena nodded her thanks and crouched down to help organize them. The boxes were filled with old test papers and reference books. She flipped open a notebook, looking at the pages filled with my handwriting. She could almost picture me sitting there in class. As she flipped through a few more pages, she saw something tucked inside. She pulled it out. It was a note passed back and forth in class, covered in handwriting. Elena frowned slightly. Beside her, the teacher spoke up again, teasing. "By the way, now that your brother has graduated, you can let him date, you know." Elena froze. "He's dating someone?" The teacher waved a hand dismissively. "These kids are always secretive about their crushes. We see it, but we don't say anything. They have exams, after all. But now that exams are over, we just let them be." Elena smiled, but didn't say anything. After the teacher walked away, she lowered her eyes and opened the notes again. Her intuition told her the handwriting wasn't from a guy. She narrowed her eyes and looked up at the wall where the model essays were posted. She compared the handwriting on the note to the essays until she found a match. The name on the essay was Sophie Chen. She glanced at the class photo hanging on the back wall. Sophie Chen, second row, first from the left. Following the note, she scanned the faces until she found a girl's face. And right next to her in the photo was me, smiling brightly. After the song ended at the karaoke bar, my phone vibrated. It was a text from Elena. "I moved your stuff home for you." I typed back, "Okay, thanks, sis. Don't move any of my things inside the boxes, okay? I won't be able to find them next time." She replied quickly, "I left them on your desk untouched. What time will you be back tonight?" I sent a voice message. "I don't know, maybe 11. Immediately my phone rang. It was Elena. Her voice sounded a little tight. "Send me your location later. I'll drive over and pick you up." I quickly waved my hand at the phone as if she could see me. No, that's too much trouble." There was a silence on the other end. "It's no trouble," she said flatly. "I'll be in the area anyway." Who just happens to be in the area 20 miles out of their way? I didn't call her out on it. Just then, the class president walked over. "Lucas, what do you want to eat tonight?" I laughed casually. "Anything's fine. You decide." On the other end of the line, Elena's voice suddenly dropped. "There are girls at this party?" "Yeah," I said. "It's a graduation party for the whole class." "What's her name?" she asked, trying to sound nonchalant. "You wouldn't know her even if I told you, sis," I said, unconcerned. "How do you know I wouldn't?" Her voice was steady. I waved Sophie over and handed her the phone. "Tell my sister your name." Sophie, completely clueless, took the phone and grinned foolishly. "Hi, Elena. My name is Sophie Chen." Elena stood under her dorm building, staring at her phone. Why hadn't I posted anything? I always posted pictures when I went out. Her roommate, Jessica, couldn't take it anymore. "Elena, I'm talking to you. Did you hear me?" Elena looked up, frowning. "What, Jessica?" "I said if you're staying in the dorm tonight, add money to your power card," Jessica repeated patiently. "I'm not staying," Elena said, distracted. "I just came back to get something." Jessica saw her staring at the phone and leaned in. She saw the chat with me still open. "Oh, you're going home tonight, right?" "Yeah," Elena said softly. "My brother is at a party and it's getting late. I'm going to pick him up." Jessica patted her shoulder. "Being his sister sounds like you're his mom and dad combined. You should find him a girlfriend. That would take the pressure off you." "I should find him one?" Elena smiled, but there was no warmth in her eyes. "Who would you suggest?" Jessica didn't notice the strange look. "I don't know, but it's not a bad idea. I've met your brother." Elena stood up and started walking to her car, her head throbbing. The irritation in her heart was growing. Why did it feel like the whole world was working against her ever since she rejected me? After dinner, we went to a murder mystery game. It didn't end until midnight. Sophie, as the vice president, had been pressured into drinking and was wasted. As we helped her out of the elevator, someone asked, "Where does she live?" Everyone looked at each other blankly. Mark sighed. "No choice. Let's get her a hotel room. Make sure she pays us back tomorrow." Everyone pulled out their phones to check prices. "Let's book a king room here. It says $150. "Damn, mine says $180, another guy said. I opened the app on my phone. "Why is it only showing $120 for me?" "Then you book it," they urged. Elena's car was parked across the street. She watched as I came out of the building with my friends. Beside me, people were helping a drunk girl. Soon, a taxi pulled up. They helped the drunk girl into the car. Elena thought that would be it, but then I opened the door and got in too. Just as she was getting out of her car to yell, her phone vibrated. It was a system notification. "Dear Ms. Miller, you have successfully booked one premium honeymoon suite with a king-sized bed." After getting out of the taxi, I texted Elena. "Something came up. If you haven't left yet, you don't need to come. I'm staying at a friend's place tonight." Elena, who usually replied instantly, was silent. 5 minutes passed. I wondered if she had even seen it. I sighed, hoping she hadn't driven all the way there for nothing. "Hello, we're just confirming," the front desk clerk said. "You booked a king-sized room?" I verified my info and got the key. I remembered I hadn't received a confirmation text, but I pushed the thought aside. I had to deal with the situation. "Lucas, grab Sophie's coat," Mark said. 2 guys helped Sophie into the elevator. Mark had gone to buy water. I held the coat and waited. As I stepped into the elevator, I felt eyes staring at me from behind. I turned around, but the lobby was empty. Elena stood outside the hotel. Her phone was clutched tightly in her hand. The chat window was still open to my message. "I'm staying at a friend's place tonight." She wanted to expose my lie. She had received the hotel confirmation. She had followed the taxi and watched me walk into the hotel with a girl's coat in my arms. Her lips pressed into a thin line. The night wind felt like a blade. She waited for 20 minutes. Finally, a group of people came out of the hotel. She scanned them, but didn't see me. She couldn't comfort herself anymore. The only explanation was that I really had booked the room. Her composure shattered. She felt a heavy ache in her chest. I came out of the restroom to find my classmates waiting outside. Mark texted me, "Lucas, waiting for the driver outside. Hurry up." As I stepped out of the elevator, I walked right into a pair of cold eyes. I froze. "Elena?" I looked her up and down. "What are you doing here?" Her gaze went behind me, then back to me. "I'm here to take you home." I frowned. "Didn't I tell you I'm staying at a friend's place?" She fumbled with her phone. "Oh, I was driving. I didn't see it." My friends started calling for me. "Lucas, hurry up. What are you waiting for?" I walked over to them. Elena followed right behind me. When we reached the group, they noticed her. "I heard you were staying at a friend's place," Elena asked suddenly, looking at everyone. "Which friend?" The guys stepped back. Mark quickly raised his hand. "He's staying at my place." Elena nodded flatly. "Then I'll give you both a ride home." "That's the opposite direction for you," I said. "Too much trouble." "Get in," she said, opening the door. The car sped down the freeway. It was silent inside. I glanced at Elena in the mirror. She looked a little more alive than before. Mark texted me from the back seat. "Is your sister mad?" "Why were you out so late?" Elena asked. Mark answered quickly, afraid she would yell at me. "It had nothing to do with Lucas. We were supposed to finish early, but Sophie got drunk and wouldn't leave." Elena smiled. "Sophie? The vice president?" "Yeah," Mark continued, blabbing everything. "She sits in front of Lucas. We all walk home together after studying." "No wonder Lucas comes home so late," Elena murmured. When we dropped Mark off, Elena grabbed my wrist before I could get out. "Are you mad at me?" she asked softly. "Nope," I laughed, pulling my hand away. "Then why were you silent the whole ride?" "I just think you have superpowers, sis," I said. "Finding me at a hotel like that." She pressed her lips together. "I got a text from the hotel. You used the family account." "So you saw the hotel text but didn't see my message?" I tilted my head. Silence. "I was worried about you," she said. "You're young and with a girl." "Don't worry, sis," I cut her off, smiling. "I'm going to start dating sooner or later." Her face went pale. I leaned in closer. "You're the one who said it. A sister is just a sister. A sister can never become a girlfriend." I watched the color drain from her face to make sure she understood. Growing up, I had special privileges. If I was picky with food, she ate it. She carried my backpack. I thought it was just sibling love. But I remembered a rainy day years ago. She came to pick me up with a big umbrella. A classmate joked that her boyfriend must be lucky. I felt sick hearing that. I asked her then, "Will you ever leave me?" She had ruffled my hair and said, "Of course not." She lied. After I confessed, she pushed me away. She became a stranger. But I knew the truth now. The cicada had spent years in the dark to sing for one summer. I just had to make her listen. On my birthday, I found stacks of paper in her study with my name written over and over. She was obsessed. I opened my phone. My parents sent red envelopes in the group chat. Elena sent one too, but said nothing. "Thanks, Mom, Dad, and Elena," I typed. "Friends coming over tonight. Don't disturb us." My parents agreed to stay away. I switched to another chat. Sophie was still apologizing for the hotel mess. "Stop bowing," I told her. "I have a job for you. Just say 3 words and you're off the hook. You in?" Meanwhile, Jessica turned around in the dorm to find Elena staring at her like a ghost. "Elena, are you crazy? Why are you staring at me?" "Jessica," Elena asked gently, "how do you make up with your brother when you fight?" "We don't," Jessica said. "We just insult each other." "We've never fought before," Elena said. "How do you apologize?" "Treat him like a boyfriend," Jessica shrugged. "Buy him stuff. If that fails, cry. Guys can't stand tears." My birthday coincided with another thunderstorm. When Sophie and Mark arrived, they were soaked. I took Mark to the guest room and Sophie to the bathroom near my room. I gave them towels. "Lucas, do you have spare clothes?" Mark asked. "Sophie is soaked." I remembered the watch I bought for Elena that she refused. "Give this to her." I handed Mark the gift box. "Tell her to come down after she changes." Suddenly, the front door opened. Elena walked in, wet umbrella in hand, holding flowers and a gift. She was early. "Elena?" I said. "Why are you back?" "It's your birthday," she said coolly. "I brought your gift." Just then, footsteps came from upstairs. Sophie walked down wearing my spare clothes. "Hey, Lucas, these actually fit." She stopped when she saw Elena. The room went cold. Elena stared at Sophie wearing my clothes. "You're right," Elena said, her voice icy. "They fit perfectly." Mark nudged Sophie. It was time. Sophie remembered the script. She smiled and extended a hand. "Sister-in-law." Elena froze. "What?" "Sister-in-law," Sophie repeated. "I'm Sophie, Lucas's—" Before she could finish, Elena slapped her hand away. Her eyes were full of ice. "Is that what you should be calling me?" She grabbed my wrist and dragged me upstairs, slamming the bedroom door shut. The storm raged outside. "Are you dating her?" Elena asked. I didn't answer. She turned around, pale. She cupped my face with her hands. "Break up with her, okay?" I looked down at her. "Why?" "Break up with her," she whispered, "and I'll be your girlfriend." The room was silent, except for the rain. "But you said you never regret anything," I said. "You said whoever regrets this has to be a puppy forever." Lightning flashed. Elena licked her dry lips. "Does that still count?" A tear fell onto my hand. "Cowards don't deserve to be loved, Elena," I said. You let me suffer alone. You froze me out. She wrapped her arms around my waist and buried her face in my chest. Yes, I'm a coward. It was my fault. I took her hand and pressed it against mine. This is our red thread, Elena. You can't cut it. I kissed her, and she melted into me. It was a kiss 5 years in the making, desperate and stormy. We stopped following the rules and finally listened to our hearts. Epilogue. When my parents came back, they brought guests, Mr. and Mrs. Miller and their son, Daniel. "Lucas, Elena, come say hi," my dad said. Elena walked out of the study. My dad introduced her. "This is Elena. The Millers were friends of your parents." At dinner, Mr. Miller tried to play matchmaker. "Elena, you and Daniel are the same age. You should exchange numbers." Elena looked at me. I focused on my soup. "Daniel loves hiking," Mrs. Miller said. "You two should go this weekend." Elena winced. I had kicked her under the table. "I can't," Elena declined politely. "Too much schoolwork." "I'll go," I said cheerfully. "I'm free." Daniel looked happy. Elena looked annoyed. "Didn't you have plans with friends?" she asked sharply. "Oh, right," I said. "My friends and I can go another time." "Make it up to them," Elena said coldly. Mr. Miller laughed. "I see. Does Lucas have a date with his girlfriend?" The table went silent. My dad looked confused. "Girlfriend? Who? Why didn't you tell me?" He turned to Elena. "You knew? What does she look like?" Elena stood straight. She paused. "She looks okay. Same age as me. Same major." My mom laughed. "She sounds just like you. Lucas might as well date his sister." "You're right," I said calmly. "I am dating Elena." My mom choked. My dad froze. Even Elena looked shocked. My dad stood up, furious. "What did you say?" Elena stepped in front of me. "Dad, I'm sorry. I confessed first." My dad raised his hand to hit her, but stopped. "You're not calling me Dad anymore?" "It hasn't been long." I pulled Elena back. "And I confessed first. She's not my real sister. Why can't I like her?" My parents sat down, stunned. "Think about it," I said. 1, I don't have to move out. 2, we're already family. 3, we know each other perfectly. Why let a great daughter-in-law get away?" I held Elena's hand. My parents were speechless. That night, my dad called us to the study. "How are we going to resolve this?" he asked. "We can get engaged," Elena said calmly. My mom sighed. "It's sudden." "Would you prefer I date a stranger who only wants our money?" I asked. "There are other girls," my dad argued. "I only have one life," I said. "I'm giving it to the person I love." They dismissed us. I crept back to the door to listen. Inside, my dad was looking at his phone. "Actually," he muttered, "check the almanac for a lucky day. We can save a fortune on wedding gifts, since it's all in the family, and the grandkids will still have our name." "That's actually pretty great," my mom admitted. I turned to Elena and grinned. We were going to be just fine.